What's up, guys, and welcome back to the GameShow Global Esport Cup. We are in Game 2 between Enso and ScaryFaceZ, and, well, Game 1 was not pretty. Enso had crafted a pretty good push draft in theory, but ScaryFaceZ just said, no, that's not going to happen. We're going to push you instead. And it ended up really being a fast game. So ScaryFaceZ decisively taking Game 1. We'll see if Enso can bring it back. They've only won one game up against Big Red Machine. Did not get to see that one, but yeah, I can only assume that IO and or TA were involved. So yeah, they're going to be banned out. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by Llamadownunder for this second game. Looks like the bans are going to be kind of similar to last game, but I think Enso really just have to do something drastically different.
Yeah, I think, sometimes you try a draft, it doesn't work, you just gotta say, hey, the game happened, we're gonna try something new. And it's probably just a case of, there might be a little outclassed, or it might just be the case that they need to try these other things. So, Nightstalker gonna be the pickup for ScaryFace. This is actually, I've seen this hero played really well, and I would be scared. I think I've also seen ScaryFaceZ use it effectively.
At this point, you should have seen everyone use it effectively. If a team is lacking a Nightstalker player, they're not going to do well in this patch. It's not that hard to play Nightstalker.
Definitely, but I've seen him played offlane, support, whatever. That first nighttime hits, he can be level 3, he can be level 5, and he can make work happen. Like, he can make business happen. So, very powerful hero, and it seems like he's very hard to play against. So they're picking up the Shadow Fiend, Radiant Advantage. Still very squishy. Nightstalker's gonna have fun here.
And the only thing Nightstalker has to be careful about is running at Shadow Fiend in a straight line. If you do get him on the flank, if you already have a slow or a stun on him, then Shadow Fiend pretty much has no chance in hell. But otherwise, Shadow Fiend does have some sort of counterplay, just being able to double raise Nightstalker. You probably need triple raise and a couple of right clicks to actually kill him off, at least if you're comparable levels. But still, that threat is going to make Nightstalker think twice about just YOLO jumping in. And then Enso grab a Bane. This is also here that we've been seeing quite a bit of as of late. Maybe in response to these Nightstalkers, it is a very good anti-Nightstalker hero, mostly just because he has Nightmare. You just put the Nightstalker to sleep, get into a better position, get TPs to come in, and Nightstalker really doesn't have much to do about that. So, yeah, ScaryFaceZ looks like they're going to actually draft an aggressive lineup, and who knows if they're actually going to play an aggressive lineup, but something else that this Bane does offer is that it effectively bans out Huskar, and that completely wrecked Enso last game.
Yeah, but instead going with the Invoker, and Invoker just alone has an entire toolkit. I mean, just Invoker plus Nightstalker have an entire toolkit to cancel out this Fiend script. So it's going to be really hard to get that off, I feel, for Enso's lineup. And while there are other tools that Bane has, like Nightmare, of course, the pure damage from Brain Sap or the Enfeeble to make someone's laning life a pain, you do want to get those Fiend script ganks off. So, gonna be having a rough time there.
I don't know, it seems like as much as Enso may want to gank, it's going to be ScaryFaceZ to gank first and gank harder, much like last game, except with pushing instead of ganking. Invoker is the pick. General played a pretty solid one, of course, not without his mistakes. Dropped a solo death to the Death Prophet, was not absolutely on point, but for the most part, did his job. Landed some great Tornado EMPs, and I can only assume he's going to be going for another Wex build in this game. Maybe you want to get Exort up against Shadow Fiend, but I would expect the Invoker to do more or less okay in that lane, and always with some help from Nightstalker, you can always bring it back even if you start to do poorly. These are two very, very fast heroes from ScaryFaceZ. Nightstalker and Invoker are going to be buzzing around at like 450 movement speed in this game, and Enso, they have no slows, they have Bane for a Nightmare and a Grip. That's nice as a start, but they really do need more crowd control just to make sure they can catch up to these heroes and actually raise them.
Yeah, so yeah, it's looking rough. At the same time, we've seen Shadow Fiends dominate games if they get an early good start and farm up the jungle effectively. So if there are stacks, this can maybe help. And ScaryFaceZ, I'm a little bit surprised by the Clockwork ban out. I feel like that's something they could have picked up for, again, more ways to disable Bane. But, I mean, they clearly, I think that means the Nightstalker is offlane, not a support.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Whoa, this dropped.
Nightstalker is, I mean, teams have it in their minds since last patch that Nightstalker is a semi-viable 4 position, but now with the extra regen, we're seeing a lot more Nightstalker being partnered up with other aggressive heroes in the offlane, Spiritbreaker, Undying, just trying to get those kills. Tusk and Undying are both going to be banned out, both of whom are really good combos with that Nightstalker in that offlane, but Winter Wyvern, Lina, Phantom Lancer, all going to hit the pool right now. Enso are now, pretty well prepared for what ScaryFaceZ are doing. But at the same time, it's hard to evaluate. The explosiveness of Night Stalker and Invoker's early mid-game can just completely run you over if you misplay. So Enso have got to be really careful here.
Reserve time.
Yeah. So the Phantom Lancer, Ember's still available. Sorry, I'm just thinking about this. I'm trying to see if with a Night Stalker it's also scary, I feel, to be the Phantom Lancer. You've got to snowball, otherwise Night Stalker can come and harass a lot. Wyvern with the Winter's Curse, they do have a lot to deal with this guy already, so he might have a rough lane. And yeah, there it is.
What a surprise. Ember Spirit up against Phantom Lancer. And so, again, don't really have that much stun. The Lina is a great follow-up to Bane. In fact, one of the best, if not the best, follow-up to a Nightmare. So you get that combo down. The problem is that Nightmare comes out kind of slowly. Lina will struggle to freehand hit those last hits up against an Ember Spirit, up against the fast heroes of Invoker Night Stalker. So the ScaryFaceZ pickup of the Ember Spirit right now is with some answers from Enso, but not a ton. Like, they need fast stuns to deal with this guy, and unless it's going to be like a grip from Fog of War or something like that, Ember Spirit should most of the time be able to see the enemies coming, get out of there in time. And he's going to probably get a lot of space as well. With Night Stalker and Invoker on his team, Ember Spirit can actually choose to contribute to that with his mobility, which is also very high, or he could just sit back and farm up and let Invoker Night Stalker lock down the game.
Yeah, they might be able to get the Nightmare off as well from Fog and then use that to set up a Light Strike Array, but, it's very difficult. The Yule's Light Strike Array combo, for hitting an Ember Spirit, you have to get it perfectly. For most other heroes, right, you can have it be off a little bit because they don't have an instant escape, but Ember Spirit has the instant remnant, basically, so he's going to be difficult to catch. And Enso looking for an offlaner who does all of this work when the clock's already banned out.
Yeah. Most of the offlaners are out, actually.
Yeah. I mean, they could possibly try to run some weird 2-on-2 where the Lina's a core and get themselves another support with a good amount of lockdown, but it looks really hard to find that here.
I feel like 2-1-2, I mean, Enso did that last time and they just got utterly smashed in the 2-1-2s. Legion Commander, a little bit of a more fringe offlaner is going to be banned out anyway, but if you look at the list of viable offlaners, Night Stalker is probably at the top nowadays, Tusk banned, Undying banned, Doom banned, Darkseer banned, Clockwork banned, Legion Commander now banned.
Yeah.
They're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here for Enso. Dual lanes, it may be like their only real option simply because the power that they can get from any available offlaner is not going to be extremely high. It's a Morphling pick, so that screams, well, I hope not offlane Morphling. I just think that's terrible.
Oh, it is. It's gonna be fantastic. You haven't seen... Okay, so it's actually
I
hard
have
because
seen
of the
it, and I'm
Invoker.
not impressed with it.
Oh, I've seen
I think
it
it's
be
dual
godly
lanes.
before.
I think it should be dual lanes.
I hope they do the offlane Morphling 4-second stun. I saw one the other day similar to... I saw this roaming Doom, and basically last patch, I saw someone do the offlane Morphling, and he got no farm, right? He just sat up there, he got experience, and I was sitting there, I'm like, hey, this looks useless. Next thing you know it though, Morphling's like, oh, by the way, I'm gonna gank mid, waveform in, uses that adaptive strike, the mid is stunned for 4 seconds, he can literally do nothing, sorry, 4.25 seconds even. So I think it can be useful. It's a really big question of can you get off those early or those necessary rotations and be useful on this Morphling.
I don't know, I feel like no matter what the Morphling can do, grabbing a Sand King or a Shaker here for Enso into the offlane is just going to be a lot more consistent, because of course the upside of the strength stunning Morphling is there, is that you have an adaptive strike that stuns forever. The downside is that that's all you do. That's literally all you do, because you do no damage outside of that. You're in strength, like you're tanky, but the enemy team can 100% ignore you. And as far as stunning these heroes, yeah, stunning off Invoker, Night Stalker, it's possible, but it's a slow projectile now, or it's a projectile now. So stunning the Ember Spirit, not going to happen. Now an Ogre Magi from ScaryFaceZ, they're going to go right back on the aggressive. And I'm not convinced that this Morphling is going to get a lot done. Again, I'm just not impressed with this hero in that playstyle, so that might just me being biased. But the, I guess, combo they're looking for is Adaptive Strike into Raises. And I guess that can get some kills on the Invoker. But, yeah, I'm not sure. Shaker Sand King would have definitely suited my tastes a little bit better, but who knows. It's going to be Nausea up to that Morphling, so good luck to him. Muriel's going to be playing the Phantom Lancer. We've got Sting on the Bane. Misha is on the Lina. That leaves the Shadow Fiend to be played by ILTW.
Yep, and on Scary Faces, we're gonna have Ogre Magi played by Shadow. We've got General on that Invoker. Ember Spirit headed up top, safe lane Ember Spirit. 666. We're gonna maybe see. No, Nausea is very well hidden here. So then we've got the support Night Stalker on state 21. And I feel like I've forgotten our offlaner. Dear, where are you? A Wyvern on Eknok. That's who I forgot. So
30 seconds.
what I'm really interested in is safe lane Ember. Sometimes, usually it means the Ember gets more farm than mid because Ember often loses the mid matchup. But he does get sacked a bit in levels. But with a Wyvern Ogre combo, they may actually just send these two to roam, allowing the Ember to kind of get best of both worlds. The Morphling will get more farm, but Ember will still get a lot. So, interested to see.
Shadow's gone boots first, by the way. As Ogre Magi, this is, I think, the best build. You get boots first, you get ignite first, and then you just run around beating people down, especially with Winter Wyvern. If they could even, conceivably leave this Ember Spirit for the most part alone and just be fully nomadic with these two supports, just gank all the time. But yeah, that's going to give Morphling a little bit of experience. Most likely it's just going to be Shadowy looking to make things happen. And honestly, he can get kills no matter where he goes. Invoker's not the great damage dealer, especially only level 1. But Ogre Magi is, and Shadow Fiend is super soft right now, so this is a dangerous situation for Enso to be in. Ogre Magi on the roam is just absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you talked about. They're just going to sit him mid. He can just keep throwing out ignites, being a royal pain in the ass. Shadow Fiend will burn down. He can also, as you said, go anywhere else. And actually, Morphling now going to take some Octic Bone in top lane as well. 666 moving up like he's going to Searing Chains, but that is not a thing right now. So, and yeah. I am interested though. Our Shadow Fiend has managed to get a lost hit and a deny, so another burn coming out. But he's off to an okay start. He's gonna have no more trouble lost hitting, probably, at this point. Especially since Invoker went again with the EMPs early.
Well, he's just gonna drop that level 1 EMP into the Shadow Fiend, dodge the LSA. So I guess that's nice for the Invoker, although, I mean, you don't really use that much mana early on, so I guess that in that regard is perfectly fine. It's fine for the Invoker, I guess. Shadowy's made his rotation now down towards the bottom lane with a Night Stalker. Has been taking a couple hits, but now it's the Bane who has to be super careful right now. Nightmare should, for the most part, keep Bane safe. But Ogre Magi is an aggressive hero. Night Stalker is an aggressive hero as well. Even during the daytime, they can just charge the Bane, charge the Phantom Lancer, force out a Doppelgang, and then just get the victory there every single time. But Misha's going to rotate in. Staying with the Nightmare is going to set up for the Ogre Magi. LSA is going to land. Lance is also available. Shadowy is going to deploy Fire Blast onto Muriel. At the same time, Misha can hit with a Void from State, who's going to try to get to his fountain, or to his tower, rather. He'll get there safe and sound. Ogre Magi just chilling in the trees. Looks like he is actually going to bait Sting in. Oh, don't go in there, Sting. That's a bad idea. This duo is tanky and they're aggressive, and I think it may be powerful enough to beat this defensive tri-lane from Enso.
I'm really surprised that they changed targets there. It felt like if they continued on the Ogre Magi, I don't know if Night Stalker had enough auto attack damage there just to bring them down, but maybe they thought they could get both a bit low and send them home, but no such luck, especially with that Mango up on the Night Stalker. So yeah, at least PL is farming well, but at the same time, 12 and 11 on the Ember. Oh, we have another engagement. Light Strike Array hitting. They're gonna use that Brain Sap. They're trying to wait to use it to get the kill, and this will be our first blood. Yeah, there is the Brain Sap. Shadow now gonna take quite a bit of damage, but literally no damage because he's got that 8 armor.
Seems balanced, Ogre. They do obliterate the Night Stalker, though, as tanky as he is. This setup of Nightmare into LSA, we talked about it before, and we are definitely not overstating things. This can get you many, many free kills. And it is also going to give Muriel quite a bit of free space. The problem is that now they're out of mana, so it's going to be a small point where State is able to get his levels, and Night Stalker can just fall back and play defensively. Get an Observer Ward, put it somewhere in this side jungle area, and then keep himself, for the most part, completely safe against any sort of ganking action. Over towards mid lane, looks like they're going deep for the Shadow Fiend. EMP to land. General is tapped out of resources at this point. Just needs one more hit, is going to get it as well. Sting actually did cast Nightmare, though, but didn't do anything. I don't know where that went, but either way, the Invoker to get a solo kill on the Shadow Fiend is huge game for this Invoker.
Can you can manually...
Yeah. Did he Nightmare the Invoker and then instantly take it off?
Yeah, I think he must have, but he can only wake up himself. Anyway, we can investigate. I definitely saw the Nightmare go into cooldown.
Yeah.
So I'm also confused.
I'm pretty sure he either misclicked on himself, misclicked in general, or used it on the Invoker and accidentally it off
I thought you could
immediately.
only cancel it on
No, you
yourself,
can do
though.
it to
Okay.
enemies too, I think. I don't know. I haven't played Bane in forever.
Either way, we will, I'm sure someone will correct us when we figured out what we've done wrong here. Either way, now as well, this top lane, just because of the initial Arctic Burn help out, Morphling is getting basically nothing, and 666, the amount of denies he have is actually insane. Morphling's level 3, 666 is level 5, Nausea having an awful time. In bottom, though, it looks like, no. Just got creeps poking at people.
First nighttime phase, Night Stalker level 4, about where you want to be as an offlane Night Stalker, but where you don't want to be is going up against Bane Lina in lane. So I say ditch this lane, get Shadowy some experience, and then go somewhere else as Night Stalker, ideally towards mid. Right now there's no one in mid, but then you have a pretty good idea of where the Shadow Fiend is. He's clearing stacks, and they will have a good read on that. ILTW is very quickly losing space to move around right now because the Winter Wyvern is also sticking around here. Okay, he's gonna slip out of there. He will be just fine, but we can see ScaryFaceZ. I'm pretty sure their game plan is pretty clear. They want the Shadow Fiend dead. They're not gonna get him, but still, pressure for the Shadow Fiend. And if he slips up once, there's 0% chance of survival there.
At the same time, they are giving a lot more space to the Phantom Lancer with all of these failed ganks. So, you know, while the Shadow Fiend is having a rough time, Phantom Lancer will be happy to pick up some of the slack there. Although all three of them coming in here already has that Bloodlust on Ogre Magi. I know it got buffed, but a little bit surprised. And Lina and Bane completely walking by that rotation. We got circles, and so Phantom Lancer probably going down here unless his Spidey sense tingles and he immediately TPs. Let's see what he can do. He does have a Doppelganger, but they're going to have the Void on him as well. That's going to do huge amounts of damages. He doesn't use the Doppelganger to get rid of the Ignite. I think he would have needed some instant TP out already. Nausea somehow dies, and yeah, the TP is cancelled by the Void. There was also a Fire Blast if they wanted, so PL goes down. And
Right, that was a good attempt there from the Phantom Lancer. Micro his illusion away. Unfortunately, he moved it to the north, and there's no escape if you go there, so ScaryFaceZ knew immediately that that was a fake one, and they just didn't attack him. So they do get the kill rotation on the Phantom Lancer. I don't know how Randy's got that kill on the Morphling. I can only assume Nausea slipped up, got a little bit too close, got with the chains, and started to burn a little bit too fast for the level 1 Morph to actually keep up with. But now Shadowy, he's going to actually catch eyes on the Shadow Fiend. Tornado's going to be deployed. It's a short one, but it's long enough to catch Sting. Shadowy's still not in a great position right now. Got to watch out for the raises. There are 2 available. LSA is going to connect. Brain Sap is available. No Nightmare. And with a long range raise, that won't quite do it. Shadowy, so invulnerable with being Ogre. They're going to actually turn around. Ignite plus Cold Snap is going to do so much damage. Fire Blast on the Sting as well. ILTW just can't get any skills off. Shadowy's going to close in, beat down the Shadow Fiend. And now he's on the run. I don't think he's going to survive here. Stick charges, and with the armor, he will live. Same time, Misha in a lot of trouble right now as Ekdar and State are just going to dive the tier 1. No problem whatsoever. This is going to be a dead Lina on their hands. The Bane actually does chase down the Ogre Magi, gets that kill, but it's a 2-for-1 with Shadow Fiend dropping. It's a big trade there for ScaryFaceZ.
And again, we're seeing what happened in the bottom lane, right? They're trying to go on really tanky heroes, and it's just not working out. The Ogre Magi was really just there to bait them into overextending, and he did just that, getting these valuable pickoffs for ScaryFaceZ. So I think Enso needs to, you know, calm down a little bit, figure out what exactly is the game plan we want to be running. Do we want Morphling to hit a certain level and be using that adaptive strike to help us set up ganks? Do we want to sit back and try to push it really late with the PL? Or what? Because it feels like they're just trying to help out in various parts of the map and getting nothing.
Yeah, just the rotations from ScaryFaceZ being that much more effective than the rotations of Enso. Still, the top lane is like devoid of impact in this game. They're just like, you know, going 1 versus 1 each other. So it's essentially a 4v4 right now. But ScaryFaceZ have a 4v4 with a Night Stalker and an Ogre. Granted, it is almost daytime, so the Night Stalker is going to take a hit into his power level very soon, but Enso need to be getting these burst kills, set up with the Bane, get the kill immediately, then walk out of there. And it's still very easy for them to do that, especially with a smoke up into an Ogre Magi. If he gets Nightmared here, I see his chance of survival dropping very close to 0 right now, and I don't really think he can escape this Nightmare. There it is. Raises incoming, so is the LSA. Someone's coming in. It's the Ember Spirit who's going to have a lot of damage output here. Shadowy is still alive right now. Throws a Fire Blast, throws an Ignite onto ILTW. The Void there as well. Shadow Fiend suddenly really messed up. 6 does not have a Spirit to jump to. He'll get dropped as well. And now State's going to try to go for Misha. Just needs 1 more Void to get the kill. Will grab it. Instantly gets put to sleep, however. Invoker is running in. State, is there any sort of CC effect here? There's a slow from the Lance. Nausea has no mana right now, and State is just going to book it with the Invoker on the high ground. EMP Tornado, plus the Cold Snap at the ready. They're going to snap up Sting and go for Nausea as well. State's still taking damage right now, but Sting will fall, and State is going to slip away. They have no more mana for Lance's. General still poking at Nausea from the high ground. Is not going to have enough damage to get that kill, but now they're on to Muriel. Well, he does have Alina right behind him, but with the full health, full mana pool, Ogre Magi, 2-man LSA is going to save the Phantom Lancer for a little bit. Will it be enough, though? Bloodlust in general. And it looks like Muriel will be able to get out of there alive. For ScaryFaceZ, that was a really costly TP there from the Ember Spirit. If you make that play, you have to have a Spirit as backup, but over towards mid lane, they're onto the Shadow Fiend now. EMP Tornado. Cold Snap, not available. Actually, has already been used. Never mind. Shadow Fiend is going to fall very quickly. He's going to try to bottle up in the trees, but at this point, General, being level 8, is hitting so hard, especially with his build phase boots and so much intelligence to boot. So the last kill on the Shadow Fiend definitely making things a little bit better for ScaryFaceZ, but losing the Ember Spirit there stings.
So with the Ember Spirit, they actually did a really nice play where the Morphling did use that max strength, well not max, but half strength adaptive strike. Never mind, we don't get to talk. There is initiation in the middle. Morphling has used the adaptive strike. They're going to pick up General with this. They have enough damage, but he uses the Tornado. It's going to knock people up in the air. They need some auto attacks. They finally get the kill with Bane's last auto attack, and now they're all retreating. So a really nice play there. Down bottom, Nausea used the adaptive strike on the Ember Spirit, and because it's 4.25 seconds, it was so long that Lina could hit the Light Strike Array afterwards. Like, the Ember Spirit was CC'd for the majority of that fight, and as you saw, went down. Unfortunately, the Invoker came in behind. I think if they'd gotten out, it would have been a huge swing for them, but of course, Invoker was there, so.
Yeah.
And this is the...
That's the upside to the Morphling, right? You get the stun off and you're happy, but we also saw the downside there. He ran out of mana super quickly. Now he has the Soul Ring, so he'll have a little bit more mana, but aside from that stun, the Morphling was doing absolutely nothing. So, you know, you get the good and the bad there, and we'll see if the Morphling can get more good than bad. Down towards bottom lane, this time Grip is up, and State, if he gets Gripped or Nightmare, he's just dead, but he sees them coming, Smoke's gonna break, and he will be fast enough to get into the trees. He doesn't know that Misha's here, although I'm pretty sure he can figure that one out by himself. Looks like the daytime gank is just not gonna fly, unless he gets too close. Like, State is kind of tempting fate right now.
So, other than that, though, Muriel doing a decent job of farming up. I think he's either going straight Yasha or straight Diffusal, not quite sure which one. I would love to see him finish off his boots. Oh, that we have a nice EMP combo again. Shadow Fiend out of mana, taking the Cold Snap. He needs help. There's the adaptive strike. But what are you doing, Invoker? Not Invoker. What are you doing, Shadow Fiend? You have nothing. There's the Fiend's Grip on General, but Nausea is not exactly bringing a lot of DPS to the party. Light Strike Array gonna finish him off. Morphling took a lot of damage though from the Ancients, and actually, oh goodness, Morphling's going in, uses the adaptive strike on 666. Maybe they can catch him here. Lena's going to be coming around eventually, but no, 666 going to remnant away. Doesn't actually have a further away remnant, but has 2 more. Could blow up the Morphling maybe here. Another adaptive strike will be up. There is another remnant across the trees in the river. Nausea's still wanting to go for it. So really impressed they actually got the kill on Invoker there.
Yeah, the Shadow Fiend actually, or the Invoker blindly used a Tornado up the hill.
Yeah.
And he was just a little bit off. If that Tornado landed, Shadow Fiend probably would have died right now, because at this point Tornado does quite a bit of damage, being, well, I don't know what level it is, but being a high level of Tornado, let's say. But he missed that one just because of Fog of War. Shit happens for General, and I think the damage would have been enough, but he's still on the rotation. They're going to catch a Shadow Fiend. Round 2 Shadow Fiend, and this time I don't think you have enough backup because there's no grip right on the corner. They're going to get right on top of him with the Arctic Burn, burn him down. Sting is going to come in. But if he gets hit with any spell at all, then he's just going to fall. He's going to get the Nightmare onto General, stun onto Eknart, so these heroes are out of commission, but there's absolutely no damage being applied to them, so they don't really care. They're going to get the Curse onto Sting right now. General's going to take Laguna Blade waveform as well. With the Brain Stat, they'll get the kill, and now Eknart's got to book it. Where's the backup? Here it is. It's State and Shadow. You run to the wrong neighborhood, Sting. Instantly multicasted twice. Bloodlust onto everyone. 3-man LSA, not bad. Sting still alive somehow. Is eventually going to fall, and now Night Stalker's pissed. He wants to look for Misha, and he's going to miss her. The jukes from Misha, my god, the Lina has been practicing the jukes, and now they'll throw onto Nausea. Not the kill they wanted, but I'm pretty sure they're still going to get this one. They also see the Shadow Fiend. That's very easy to get the kill there. Six is still stunned for a little while longer, but now he preps his shield. 2-man Sleight of Fist, 2-man Chains, and they will drop both these heroes down. Probably State will beat him down, although the Shadow Fiend gets 1 kill before he dies. He still does go down. Now they're going to dive the tier 3s because no big deal. Six is definitely going to die here. The question is to what? He's going to get the kill first. Double kill? No, he's not going to die. TP out. Muriel needs a lance, but he can't quite get it in time. He's going to throw it towards State that does nothing. Okay, so Ember Spirit diving tier 3s 13 minutes in. No big deal, man. No big deal.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate. I think that Enso having a lot of trouble with the fact that their team can't, after they get 1 kill, they can't seem to get another just because of the longer cooldown, stuff like Fiend's Grip not being up. So maybe they just needed to back out there, but also they were getting picked up all over the map. In top, the Phantom Lancer went down. There was that big rotation coming through the jungle of all of ScaryFaceZ. It just It seemed like really bad timing, you know? They did get one kill and then it just snowballed all for ScaryFaceZ from there. And
It
this
is
blind
nighttime.
usage of tornadoes continually coming out of this Invoker.
Tornado has a pretty high cooldown for like a base regular slash skill. State's gonna find the courier, beat him down twice, and take a stun for his troubles. Shadowy is right behind, however, Ignite is gonna be thrown, which will apply fire to pretty much everyone. State's gonna take a Laguna Blade. He's still alive, he's gonna silence the Lancer and then book it really. Okay, Night Stalker OP apparently. Shadowy's gonna get hit with the grip over in mid. A couple raises, they'll bring down the Ogre Magi. Now they're gonna bring in the Ember Spirit. Nice chain, Sleight of Fist, EMP. Gonna connect on two with the Tornado as well. That's a dead Shadow Fiend. Cold Snap on a Sting, and he's also gonna drop. Now Six is gonna charge forward. He's gonna get stunned up a little bit by the Morphling, but the Morphling conversely gets hit with the Curse. Drops pretty low to the Soul Ring. And, well, Ember Spirit is going to jump in. Unfortunately, can't get the kill enough, although he does land the chains. Nausea has another stun. Will deploy onto Six, taking no damage again, but yeah, for ScaryFaceZ, they eventually survive. They get rid of the Bane, they get rid of the Shadow Fiend, and they're just still pushing in. Shades of last game right now. We can see the Morphling have his stun have some use, but honestly, I'm not sure if this stunning is worth the pick.
Yeah, it's been really hard. They've definitely gotten some kills with it, but as you saw, it's not. He's not bringing another damage source, and it felt like against these super tanky armored up heroes, because the Night Stalker also has really good armor, not just the Ogre Magi, you know, and also Night Stalker's a strength hero. It feels like they maybe needed some magical burst other than the Lina, right? Because Lina, as a support, doesn't bring nearly as much. So, looking really hard for Enso now. If they can push this out further, it's one of those weird things where, of course, the Ember Spirit is the natural counter to the PL, but PL can get to a point where he's big enough with that split pushing. If he plays with his real self back in the fights, doesn't get caught by the Sleight of Fist, you can have some interesting interactions. So maybe something they can do here, but Nausea in the meantime, hanging out off to the side of these trees, looking for something good, but you have to know that there are a lot of ScaryFaceZ heroes, and this tower probably just going down. Although they shouldn't ever see Nausea in this position, so he should be fine.
The only situation where you spot is if Eknar tries to get into a better position with Burn and then he just flies right over. I can see that happening maybe, but having a Morphling in this position isn't actually very dangerous. He could stun someone, but whoever he stuns is immediately going to get embraced by Eknart, so that most likely Lena's not going to be able to burst him down. Nausea, just don't move and you're going to be fine. Don't breathe. Yeah, the vision of ScaryFaceZ is based on movement. Oh, they see him! What? General! Cancel your TP, get in there! He's gonna cancel it finally, and they do land the EMP onto Nausea. He's silenced as well. Okay, well, I didn't expect that to happen, but mission accomplished. They also get on top of Misha. Six is gonna jump right in with the Night Stalker. LSA available, will connect, but it's way too late to save her. And now ScaryFaceZ have a high ground push on their hands. Maybe. That's
like, you can't even
sucks.
plan for that. Like, that's just really unlucky that Invoker happened to go there. And
I told him not to breathe.
yeah, just got really unlucky. They're going to try to exchange a tier 1 for a tier 3, given how far behind they are, because this is a 10k net worth. You know, you'll take it, but you have to TP back and try to defend, and this tier 3 going down very quickly with that Bloodlust buff on everyone. Lance is finally coming out of the Phantom Lancer, but he has a Yasha. He didn't rush the Diffusal, so not going to do too much there. Actually, maybe they're thinking of trying to stop the TPs. No, Adaptive Strike not quite in range for Nausea, and they do manage to hold their base, but this tower is down to 250 health, and Invoker may be thinking about going in on them anyway. No, he's just gonna run away. Actually, he might take a Lance. He's probably gonna channel. Yeah, he channels that Invis, so gonna get out scot-free.
Everyone else from ScaryFaceZ is just gonna fall back. They lose a tier 1 tower, yes, but they almost completely kill off all the towers on the bottom lane. The fact that the tier 3 survives is kind of nice for Enso, but at the same time, we saw how fast that tower dropped. For ScaryFaceZ, they could just make another push in, drop that one immediately, and then back out just with an extra bag of gold. They were, I think, going to back off, like before they found that Morphling in the corner there, they were going to back off and try to go for a Roshan. Is still viable here for ScaryFaceZ, but being daytime, they're going to wait just a little while longer. Now that the Aghanim Scepter's up on the Night Stalker, he has level 2 ultimate, he's good to go. Like, this is a fully activated Night Stalker, and he's going to be seeing everyone at the very least. Also, I think the Orchid on the Invoker, and for the ScaryFaceZ Ember Spirit, he's lagging a little bit, but still 417, he's just not getting a lot of time to farm, simply because he's going around killing people all the time, which is, I would say, worth his time. Conversely, for Enso, we have Mechanism on the Shadow Fiend and Yasha on the Phantom Lancer. nice, but definitely not good enough right now, especially if Muriel gets jumped. 6 is going to prep the shield right now. Sleight of Fish, Searing Chain's available. He's going to very quickly see the real one, who's going to get silenced as well. No Cold Snap just yet, nor anything else from this Invoker, but they don't even need it. With the Sleight of Fist, they'll kill off the Phantom Lancer. Grip onto 6 right now. Tornado's not available for another 1 second. They lose the Ember Spirit to the Laguna Blade. Now General's in a lot of trouble because here comes Nausea. Needs a stun. Will get it. Is there True Sight? Seems like there is enough, but Shadow's going to come in with Fire Blast and Ignite onto Misha. This Lena's very dead right now. In general, he's still alive. He's still kicking him, kicking pretty hard at that. They just can't catch up to him. Shadow has another Fire Blast in just 1 second. That's going to be deployed onto Sting, probably, eventually. Sting, best case scenario, is a Nightmare Deny, but it's not going to happen. He dies as well. It's a 4-for-2 trade, and they also see the 5th. That's Nausea on the run. Looking for a Courier, maybe, but he's going to get hit with the Curse. Sunstrike is there, low level, so it doesn't do that much. But Morphling is pretty much screwed right now. Is 10 mana away from a waveform out. Neutral Deny is going to stand still and, you know, just receive his fate.
I think he could have gone for the neutrals, but I think he was buying out uphill. Also, they did get the Night Stalker, and they got a bunch of... They got his streak, but not enough there. And as we've been talking about, just looking like Enso is, again, a victim to that kind of death ball. Finally, Phantom Lancer working on the Diffusal, but Shadow Fiend with just the mech, he's not nearly tanky enough. He needs a Sanj and Yasha at the very least, and given how well Ember Spirit is farming this game, looking tough. Also stuff like Invoker having an Orchid, it's one of those nice items where because he got it so early, it forces Phantom Lancer to really need that, first of all the Diffusal to get rid of that silence, but then later on he needs the Manta, and while he does want to go those items, he wants a lot of things this game. He wants to tank up, right? And so it is hard.
Heroes like Bane and Shadow Fiend who need to channel somewhat, I mean, I guess a little bit more so Bane than Shadow Fiend, but need to channel, they're not going to be able to get that one free. That time, Invoker did not have his Tornado available, but now he has 1 point value point in Exhort, so whipping up a Deafening Blast is just another form of CC that can be used to cancel that grip, maybe stall out a Shadow Fiend's Requiem from channeling, who knows. General's getting the levels up necessary to be a significant threat. He's gone for the Midas afterwards, seems to be pretty much par for the course for General. Still not entirely sure about the sequencing, but it seems to be working out for him in these past couple games, so you know, we'll let it fly. They're just going to go in straight for the tier 2, and with the rest of Enso being on the top lane, they're definitely not going to be able to defend this. The problem is that for ScaryFaceZ, they can slide down to the bottom lane and immediately take the tier 3, which is already very, very wounded. And Enso, they're working with the double damage Shadow Fiend. That's pretty good, but they're just not going fast enough. Tier 3 is definitely going to fall right now. They also catch Sting right now with the chains. He's silenced, no grip available, and he's going to fall very quickly with a multicast. EMP is going to be deployed, will not connect onto much, but that's already 1 kill down. Misha's going to take a big hit from the Sleight of Fist. State going to go right in for a Void. Urn is not quite going to do it. I think Misha's fine, although the creeps, yeah, she'll get back to base. But the Raxes will fall, and where the hell are the rest of Enso's heroes?
They're actually getting a fantastic push up in top. I think they just need to stay there because, you know, they've lost Rax at this point. Just get the tier 3 if you can. But they're going in for more on ScaryFaceZ. They get the Searing Chains again on Nausea, and he's going to fall. A nice Light Strike array, but Winter's Curse punishing her for being even there at all. And I think this is just a case that they should not have TP'd back. Now we see that Shadow Fiend came home and just explodes immediately. Didn't even have max souls there. Sting trying to do something with a PL. Oh, just chilling in the fountain. He actually charges out, and that is not what he wanted. He immediately doppelgangers back in.
That was Enso going in one at a time. Even though they all were there at like 1 point in time, they lose the Bane, they lose the Shadow Fiend, they lose the Lina, and really no hero there is able to help any other hero there because they're just dead way too quickly. ScaryFaceZ had like multiple 5v1s on their hands. And I like your odds there for ScaryFaceZ. They're going to take down the mid lane now as well. 20 seconds till Enso are back at their full strength. And that's 20 seconds where they can't afford to lose Muriel, who's going to get hit with the silence. 2 silences, in fact. He's doubly not going to cast spells. That's a dead Phantom Lancer. Misha going to get ignited. And look at Shadowy's positioning right now. Like, you don't do this unless you know that you have the game in the bag. He's going to, like, think about buying items from the enemy's fountain. State's going to get hit with the LSA and Laguna Blade. He'll die. But you know what? The Night Stalker can't afford to die right now. They're 2 Raxes ahead, and it's 23 minutes in. They still have an Aegis.
Yeah, and it is, I mean, the only reason they're not 3 Raxes ahead. Oh, they're going back in. There's the stun. It doesn't actually get the multi-cast for Shadow. The Nightmare thrown out on the Shadow Fiend, just trying to say, hey, our troops will rally if you stay here. But there's not very much mana on any of them. Shadow Fiend is having an urn popped on him. But Lina, Misha running super far forwards with just a Light Strike array or just a Dragon Slave in the bag. And finally, this push is going to end. The only reason they didn't take top Rax is there was a tier 2 there. So.
And I'm pretty sure it's not going to be there for much longer.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things, as we mentioned, they've got everything they need. They're so far ahead. It's about 20, not 20. It's over 25,000 net worth and then only 12,000 experience. But that's what happens when you group up and push a bit. So all of these, and this draft doesn't even feel like an early push. It's just Invoker had such a nice start in lane, and really they took advantage of how squishy the Shadow Fiend was.
Yeah, the rotation from the Ogre and Night Stalker definitely helping out there as well.
Yeah.
They're both stacked.
4 and 9 on the Shadow Fiend, and there's the GG call. Realizing they can't really push this late, and so yeah. And that'll be it for this best of 2. Ooh.
Unfortunately, Ogre Magi not with a chance to use his Dagon.
Yeah.
Breaks my heart. But
Mine
either way,
too.
Enso just, they kind of seem outclassed here. The Morphling pick on the top lane didn't really do anything in this game. Granted, I don't think any other hero would have been able to, completely counterbalance the situation that they found themselves in. But yeah, Morphling I don't think was the last pick there that Enso really wanted, and just the lanes not going well for Enso at all. I don't know. General's Invoker rather completely crushed the Shadow Fiend over in mid. Just seems like overall ScaryFaceZ are on a different level.
Yep. And it's definitely one of those things where, yeah, the Invoker got buffed. We got to see its power here. Maybe they just weren't expecting it to be so dominant.
Alright guys, that's going to be it for this first set. ScaryFaceZ is going to take a 2-0, going to put 3 points up on the scoreboard. Next game is going to be coming up hopefully shortly. Got to pull up the schedule real quickly. It's going to be at, it's going to be in 30 minutes. Actually, we get a little bit of break. It's going to be CIS Rejects versus Power Rangers. In that time, I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by Llamadownunder. Guys, if you enjoyed the games, be sure to stick around because there's more coming. There's also more running. I think they're in the middle of their game, Big Red versus CIS Rejects, on the same channel except azubi.tv/gameshow_D2EN_2. I know, the underscore is right, but there's still more games running there, so you could jump over there while you're waiting. But for right now, we are going to have a short break until the next game, guys. We will see you in a bit.